But nice to the February 12, 5:30 p.m. Board of Supervisors meeting is here in attendance and also online. At this time, I'd like to ask Pastor Lee Palmer to come up from the.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to offer a prayer on your behalf. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so very much for the blessings of this, to live in this great community. We thank you for the opportunity to celebrate 250 years as a nation. And although we realize we haven't always gotten it all right, we are still blessed and still the greatest nation. I pray tonight now, Lord, as our Board of Supervisors make decisions, that you bless and guide them through the process and that they do so with knowledge and compassion. I pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Bill, will you lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Next is the approval of the agenda. Do you have any additions or corrections to that?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know we have very many items. If the board wishes to move the closed meeting towards the end of the meeting after the public hearings.
Okay, I would also like to, and I know Mr. Beal gets upset when he gets to go first, but I'd like to move him first. Tonight, he likes to have advantage. But I'd like to, we got right many presentations, and I'd like to feel free for me. Maybe if you wish. Anybody have anything there?
No. Make a motion that we approve that agenda with the amendments.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, next we have the approval of the minutes of January 8th, 2026, our regular meeting. Do you have any additions or corrections to those minutes?
I move that we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have a January 15th, 2026 joint meeting with school board minutes. Before approval, any additions or corrections?
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving forward, we're going to start with our presentations. Mr. Beal? B-Dot, David Beal from B-Dot.
Hey, good evening. It's good to be here with you all tonight. We've been busy over the last month, mostly pushing snow and cutting ice off the road, but we did do some shoulder repairs on Cone Stage and Ridge. We did a little brush cutting. We've been fighting some beaver dams throughout the county and keeping up with potholes and work orders as well. We still have some shoulder repairs on 360, some ditch cleaning to do on Bluff Point and Whole Neck. And this is pothole season now, coming out of the winter into the spring. So we'll focus on those now. The only other update I have for you on the bridge on 611 Gilliam's, you'll see some advertisements for a willingness to hold a public hearing. Those are going to run in February and in March. And we'll have some signs out there on the road for anybody that drives by. That's a brief update for you, but that's all I have.
Anybody have any questions, Mr. Beal?
First, I want to congratulate them for the good work of getting the ice up, snow, and all that. And even, I don't know how it happened. I didn't even have any snow on my step. You good. But thank you for all you do.
I appreciate your comments, but I can't take credit for the snow on your step.
Okay. Okay.
Mr. Beal, the snow removal that you've done thus far, good job. Appreciate it. Good job to you and all your people. what you've done so far and what you may have to do this month or next month, is that going to have any effect on your financial ability of grass cutting in the summer months?
I don't anticipate it to.
Don't anticipate, okay.
Yeah, we still, our goal is to cut primary routes 3 times a year, secondary routes twice.
Right.
We pick up litter every time we cut. So that's still the plan.
Okay, thank you.
If anything, it would push the first mow, so I don't have to pay it until the next fiscal year. But for now, I don't have to do that. But we'd still do it 3 times.
Okay.
What was that about the Whitestone Bridge time? Are they having a meeting anytime soon?
No meeting is scheduled with the bridge yet.
Okay.
But I'm still committed to having a meeting with Northumberland County about the bridge once we have information to discuss with you.
Good.
Mr. Beal, I understand that VDOT did an experimental treatment of some of the secondary roads in the county. Can you give us any results of that treatment? How it worked, how it didn't work?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say experimental. We brined a piece of Hack's Neck, and we brined some of Knight's Run. And honestly, I still need to follow up and see if they noticed any difference. But we did. There was some extra material on the truck when we were done. We're like, hey, hit these secondary routes. So I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
One other thing. I'd like for you to check the ditches on Light Street. They need to be clean.
All right.
State's talking about not using salt anymore, trying to find a way around it. Is there a way around it? I mean, what are they thinking about? I'm not familiar with it after all the years of pushing.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard different things, but I think that bill it's more about obligating VDOT to do the research to figure out if there is another alternative. We've got about 12,000 tons of salt within the Northern Neck and the residency. That's probably 2 years worth. Just ordered another 1,000 tons to Haynesville. So as far as I'm concerned, we're going to be using salt for a little while.
Okay.
We got any questions?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Beal, just to echo what other board members said, very challenging storm for the VDOT staff, a lot of ice, but they did do an awesome job.
Thank you. I'll pass that on.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have Cali Hometown Community Association park update. Then we have Ms. Beach and Ms. News.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Partner in front of me. Good evening. As most of you know, I'm Lisa Dietz, president of the Callio Hometown Community Association, which is an organization that was formed from the revitalization of Callio. With me tonight, I have Debbie Newsom, our treasurer. I have Bobby Burgess, our vice president, Tony Sharon, a director, Nancy Burgess, a director, and Tom Giannessi, an auxiliary member. We first want to thank you all for the invitation and for your interest in this project, and for the opportunity to share an update on the progress of the Hometown Community Park. Are you aware that Northumberland is the only county in the Northern Neck and surrounding areas that does not have a community park? CHCA is working hard to change that. It's been a while since we've been here, but please know that we have continued to make progress on this project. As I'm sure you know, that good things take time to plan and complete and are always worth waiting for. When we were here before, we had hired Hill Studios to design the park layout. It is designed to reflect the hometown nature of the entire county and is designed to include all ages and all levels of abilities of our residents and visitors. Since that time, using Hill Studios design, we took bids from 4 companies to design a ready-to-dig site plan. AES Consulting Engineers was hired in September of 2024 to provide the site plans needed to move forward with this project. The cost of these plans are $138,900. These plans did not include the architectural design of the entrance building or the amphitheater stage. David Brumley, custom home designer, was hired to design these structures. The entrance building will be a 2-story structure resembling a barn. There will be an opening through the middle of the structure for a walkway into the park. On the left side of the walkway will be handicap accessible restrooms and a small meeting room. On the right side of the walkway will be a display area for memorabilia and a room for a museum. The upstairs of this structure will be for storage. The amphitheater stage for concerts and other events is designed out of a repurposed silo. There will be tiered seating for enjoying the events on the stage. These 2 structures will reflect the agricultural heritage of our county. These plans were certified by House Engineering firm. There will also be nautical items throughout the park, like a repurposed skiff made into a sandbox, nautical stepping stones, and there will definitely be some type of crab pot structure, since the crab pot was invented and patented by Benjamin Franklin Lewis, who lived in Calliope. The park will also have an accessible playground, a walking trail, picnic area, game area, and 2 covered pavilions for holding farmers markets, craft shows, educational classes, children's activities, and many other community events. Now, where are we in this process? AES submitted their site plan proposal to DEQ on September the 8th, 2025. It has been reviewed by DEQ and sent back to AES. AES has been working through the needed changes, and we received word yesterday that the 2 have a meeting on Monday to possibly finalize these plans. Once we get DEQ's approval, AES will have some final designing to do, like lighting, hardscaping, and landscaping. We're hoping to have the completed, ready-to-dig plans in our hands by early spring. Then that brings us to cost and funding. We will not know a total cost on this project until we get the plans back. But we do know that we are far from where we need to be to complete this project. Continue to accept donations and do lots of fundraising. The community has been very generous with donations and their support of fundraisers. Community groups such and businesses like the Calliope Moose Lodge, Calliope Brewing Company, the Lions Club, and several area churches have been extremely generous with donations and help with planning and carrying out fundraisers. We have several fundraisers coming up soon. There'll be a spaghetti dinner at the Calliope Moose Lodge on March 28th and a quarter auction at the Calliope Brewing Company on May 30th. You can find more information on CHCA's Facebook page or the website. You can also follow the park progress on the website The website is gocaliova.org. Once we get the finished approved site plans, we will be able to start applying for grants. These grants, along with the generous donations, fundraising support from the community, will hopefully help us reach the goal of constructing the hometown community park for our entire county, its residents and visitors. Thank you again for the opportunity to share the update on this project, and we will continue to keep you posted.
Anybody have any questions? Comments?
Sounds wonderful.
Thank you for your.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, we have plans. Would you like a copy? Copy of the. Yeah.
All right. Up next, we have an update from the Development Commission.
Good evening.
Hi, stating your name, sir.
Yes, sir. Bob Bullard, Executive Director for Economic Development Commission. Good evening, gentlemen. I want to talk to you about several things, activities that are going on within the Economic Development Commission. If I could have the first slide, please. So these are the three topics that we're going to talk about. The local and regional competitive initiative survey that was administered by the Virginia Economic Development Partnership. We talked about land use recommendations based on previous meeting that we had last year, joint meeting with the board, the Planning Commission, and the Economic Development Commission. And to tell you where we are with our focus for 2026, discuss our areas of emphasis. Next slide. So the LRCI is every 5 years, VEDP provides this survey for the Economic Development Commissions to be able to fill out. It's not meant to be a grading tool, but it's more of a, just to see where you are and how you compare with the other counties within your area, or other peer counties, if you will. In summary, I put down what are the good things that were highlighted for us, what are the neutral things and areas that we could focus in on. The bottom line in the good area is the fact that we're a pretty lean organization when we're able to prioritize our work. We have a lot of things that we want to accomplish, but at the same time, we have to look and see what it is that we have time to do. We're doing a good job with aligning our priorities, our strategic goals with documents such as the comprehensive plan, which is currently in draft form. Areas that we could, where we are behind compared to our peers, and again, it's not meant to be a bad failing grade for anybody, but it's just to show this is where we are. Just at depth and redundancy with our staff. Their per capita economic development funding, we're slightly below who our peer groups are. And I put on the right-hand side who the peer counties were. The way the survey works is we go in there, we answer the questions, and they say, which counties do you want to be compared to? So we make sure we don't compare ourselves to Fairfax County. That just would not give us any good results. What I wanted to do is I want to try and see if I could have compared these results to the previous survey that was done in 2020. However, VEP cautioned us and said the survey is completely different from what they did back then. And because of that, you're really not going to get any good results. But suffices to say, if I can go to the next slide, the goodness of this is that it's informing our strategic plan. And it's helping us align those goals with what we're capable of doing. It confirmed that we're doing a pretty good job, and we're doing everything with the constraints that we have available to us. But it's given us a good look. What we're going to do now with this is we have a draft strategic plan. We're waiting for the comprehensive plan to be completed, and once it's completed, we're going to go full bore on completing our strategic plan. But we're going to make sure we incorporate some of the lessons learned or some of the things that are inside the LRCI into our strategic plan. Any questions on the LRCI? Okay, if I can go to the next slide, please. Next topic is the county property land use recommendation. These are the properties that we talked about. We fully support and endorse those. It was discussed in a recommended parcels to sell as a joint discussion coordination with the Planning Commission and Economic Development Commission. I learned as I was building the slide that last one on the top matrix was already sold, so that's good news. But as we understood from that meeting, the proceeds for that was going to be put in a special fund, if you will, that would be used for being able to do potential things like grant matching as we explore further opportunities for other properties. A segue to that takes us into that bottom one. It is the pool house tract. And we're continuing to investigate what it is that we want to accomplish with that particular parcel. Again, in order to do that, we do need some of those funds potential. We don't know what that is, how much it is, but we know we're going to have to do environmental studies. We're going to have to do some heritage studies. We're going to have to do several different looks, if you will, to see what's the art of the possibility. If there's any zoning requirements that we may want to consider. So we have several different things to look at, but we've got a good path forward. We're going to have a good data-driven decision analysis, if you will, to say what's the best for that property. Any questions on this particular slide?
I understand your process, but what's time?
Yeah, so I didn't show that one intentionally. Right now, the initial timeline to be able to get us to a point where we can come to you and say, here's the options, we'd like for you to make a decision. We're looking about between 5 to 12 months. Part of that also depends on us to be able to have funding to be able to do those different studies, environmental study and things of that nature. A little premature in giving you the timeline, but this is our first mark on the wall, and the team's going to be continuing to work through and come up with a more realistic timeline.
Where do you plan to get your funding from?
Again, we're looking to see if we're able to obtain some of the funding from the properties that are being sold. No further question. We'll go to the last slide. So here's our focus. In everything in that yellow pad is, we threw everything. We don't have a full plate. We have a full pot. And these are all things that we know we want to do that are nice to do. But again, like we said from the LRCI survey, we've got to be more focused in the areas that we want to be able to work on. And on the right-hand side, this is showing you that back in August when we met and talked about our strategic priorities, we mapped those based on the comprehensive plan that was being drafted at that time. And we took it a step further, and those pillars that you see there kind of coincide with the comprehensive plan, and those are the strategic pillars that we're looking for in our strategic plan. Suffice it to say, as we look at those things on the left-hand side, we're looking to see how they fit within our priorities. We're looking to see where it fits in the pillars, and we're also looking to see what the time available is to be able to accomplish them. One of the things I do want to highlight is something that's happening pretty soon is we're working on coordinating for the Northern Neck 250 tour bus to come into the county. We'd like to try and coincide that with with an event within the county as well too. So I'm going to meet with several folks in the county to see how we could be able to make that happen. I already talked with the Planning Commission because there are some footprint requirements, if you will, with respect to the tour bus that comes here. It takes up quite a bit, and it requires it's pretty heavy too. So those are things that we're looking for. Any questions on the 2026 focus?
just like we provide us with updates as you make progress.
Yes, sir. One of the things that I have started to do is with respect to our monthly reports, I do report them with respect to our priorities, and I'll start making sure they're with the pillars, and also provide you with a executive summary of the LRCI, but I'll keep you updated on this as well.
Any questions? Well, I got one, and I brought this up in the planning commission. We talked about some of this property that need to take a look at getting rid of, but we also need to take a look at, does the county have any property that has timber on it? Because you can lose money by letting that timber go too long and not be harvested.
Understood.
So I guess we need to figure out who in the process of having timber looked at. I mean, we in the middle of this, or getting ready to get in the middle of that budget process, and I'll look at that as part of that budget process. Is that some way, some revenue coming in the county can help offset some one-time expense?
And beetle wreak havoc on pine stands, and that's what the poorhouse track has on it, a lot of it.
And another thing too is, we've had discussions on this property several times, and I think part of that budget prep, we need to further those discussions, and let's pick out those properties that are landlocked or are not going to do the county any good, and let's make decisions.
Great.
So, Mr. Tadlock, as we move forward with our budget process, can you kind of plug that in so we can have discussions on that? And let's see what we can make happen on that. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time.
And we need somebody from my district on your.
Yes, sir.
Right? Okay.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Yes. We have two requirements, two administrators that we could use.
I know I got one.
Yes, sir.
I got one gentleman that's come on. So
Thank you.
I need to check and see if
what'd you say, Mr. Long?
do we have a list of those or something? Maybe Mr. Paddock. Do you have a list of the people we have on for each district?
We do. We can get that. Morgan has that updated, and we'll get that out to the board.
But
Okay, next on the agenda is an update from the Northumberland County Schools. Dave Curran.
Yeah, just, Karen Leslie, unfortunately, is feeling very much under the weather tonight. So I know that she regrets that she can't make the meeting tonight, but just two items that she wanted me to pass along. The school board did pass a proposal for the school board budget, and they also passed a proposal, a motion for the Joint Finance Committee. And we're all on board for meeting with the Board of Supervisors. That's all I have. Any questions?
good. Do we have all the positions filled? Are we still looking for?
That would be a Dr. Leslie question. Anything else? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, board members, so here to give you an update. Couple things. We were working on the pre-audit and got a number of the documents provided to them, but we had to put a hold on that, and we met about it. What we found and what the pre-auditor found was that we did not book revenue into the 2025 year from January to June. That revenue was not booked on the RDA system side. So it's in the county side. But we could, and Jack Reagan from UHY closed the year out. And I'm not sure how he did that without having revenue booked. So it was a concern. We set up a call with Jack, but apparently he had a family emergency and he could not make the call. But he did send us some files, which were the working papers, which I'd asked for since the day I got on board. That would be mid-October. The working papers that Jack sent me were all the expenditure files that I already had. there were no revenue files. There was nothing talking about revenue. There were no reconciliations done. And I'll be honest, I'm a bit disappointed in that. That issue has caused us to delay our pre-audit completing that work, which then is going to cause us a delay on the audit. And so, I take it as it's going to be the school's fault that things are running late, but we're doing the best we can to find the pieces and put it together, put the puzzle together. One comment that I'd like to make is that at any time we have a contractor coming in to do business that gives us a letter of engagement or a working document, that we have somebody assigned that's going to evaluate their work to check on it every week. And I don't believe anyone was looking at UHY's work. And so I believe that we paid for services that we did not receive.
Ms. Curran, can I stop you for a second?
You certainly can.
So what's the plan going forward with the pre-auditor group from here?
Oh, so the plan is that we are now finding the revenue, and we are going to put the transactions in the RDA system. And then once we do that, we contact the pre-auditor and get the dates back turned back on to get the pre-audit done.
When did you first contact Reagan about needing that information?
Let's see, I came on the 18th. It was probably the 19th. I asked for the working papers. October 19th. And I continually asked for the working papers.
To my knowledge, this is the first we're hearing about that. Is this correct? The board members?
Well, the delay in the pre-audit
Yes.
has just come up.
Yes, since October.
But finance director has been asking for information from UHY all along.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's the first time we've heard UHY hasn't presented the information. It's the first I've heard.
But you said they didn't reconcile
No,
on an audit.
I don't know that I would consider it an audit. I think he was engaged to help us out with finding, booking the revenues, booking the expenditures because we were behind. That was the engagement letter I saw from May 25th.
But he signed off.
I think where I'm confused is I know in some of the board meetings we've had discussions, and Mr. Reagan made comments about closing out 2025.
Yes, sir. He closed it.
Right. But before, a lot of the meetings we had were discussions that they were still finding invoices of POs that were not complete or properly done. But, he did stand before us and presented to us that he closed out or they closed out 2025.
Yes, sir.
And I just think we got to ask why. We got to get Mr. Reagan, either send him a letter or get him on the phone. And the question is, why did this happen and it got closed out?
I think that would be a good thing to do. The other thing I was thinking is that, he certainly reports to a board at his company, and maybe we could talk to the lead person there and ask if we could have a meeting to discuss what happened.
Tadlock, does the county have any outstanding invoices owed to UHY at this point?
We do not. No, sir. And there was time period there where there was a contract with the county and then a contract with the school division. And I believe both sets of invoices have been paid, so.
Yeah, everything has been paid.
Question on that?
So to further discuss this, has affected the pre-audit and the audit, but it's also affected the completion of the ASR, which is the annual school report, which was due to the state in September. So what we are doing there, we're trying to take the transactions in the text file and make sure that they're valid, because there's a lot that we have that aren't valid. So we're having to fix those. But now we've got to get all the deposits in and rerun this scenario and then get it booked. So
What's the time frame on being able to enter all that information?
well, I call them every week on Fridays and tell them where we are. They haven't shut me down yet, but it's really important that we get it done. But I have good news. It's not all bad, okay? So expenditures and appropriations for 2026, we've caught up, and we are within 0.01% of the county numbers. I mean, that is big step. So be proud of Dr. Pika, and she's done some really good work. And on a good note on the deposits, Dr. Pika has worked all week to find the money, and she has found 4.1 million of deposits that need to go in, and actually has created the journal entry receipts to go into the system. So we're in a much better place than we were on Tuesday. And they're reconciled. So they're in RDA now and they're reconciled. So we can it's not all bad news. And part of this process when I came on board, one of the things that we had to take on was procedures. How to get things done, how to get them done properly. And, working with the school board and the school leadership team, making sure that the purchases that are made for the schools on behalf of the teachers are making on the schools and things like that. We were asked to make sure, number one, that's in budget, and number two, that it's tied to student learning, student achievement, achieving the outcomes that we're looking for. And we're not just buying whatever. So we did put that into place. And so that was part of slowing down the procurement process, trying to put procedures in place. And for the most part, it's gone well. I mean, we're getting justifications in. Dr. Pika has provided each one of the school principals a checkbook. This is their personal checkbook for their school of where the numbers are, where the money is, what budget they have, how much they've spent, and how much is remaining before we get the fourth quarter appropriation. So I can say that the high school has been stellar, the middle school has been stellar, and we're still working with the elementary school. I think they still struggle with understanding the checkbook and making sure that their spending is in alignment. So there might be some concern from them that we're not letting purchase orders go through, but we do have guidelines that we're following. Number one, you have to have money in your budget. If there's no money there, then we look to work with the principal about moving money from different pockets to cover the spending. But we're also looking for justifications about student learning. It's not that hard. What are you doing? What are you buying, and how does it apply to student learning? You can use SOL, not SOL scores, but SOL guidelines that they want us to achieve. We need to meet this. We need to have the students learn this, and we've been working with the schools to do that. But we still have problems. So what this week I did was I decided to use ChatGPT to help me with my justifications. And I asked it to write justifications on behalf of purchase orders that I received that did not have a justification. So, and it did, and I asked to go back and look at Virginia Code and VDOE and make sure that it aligns. And it did. And it wrote me a justification. I copied it. I sent it to the principal and whoever was asking to purchase certain material so that they could include it. All they have to do is copy it. Or they can make it their own, whatever, and then put it in their purchase order. Still had problems, and we're still learning. So I will continue that process because I believe that people can learn and they just need to be educated and shown that it's very easy to do this. And it also helps them to think about, what am I buying and how does it apply to what the kids need to learn? And are they learning? So let's see. Oh, good news. We had our first meeting of our ERP steering committee this week. Our next meeting is on the 25th of February. Last meeting, it was more of a discussion of what has been going on, getting to know each other, and to talk about goals and objectives. So, our goal really, the first thing is we want to put together an RFI to go out to vendors to give us back what they can do. And so we're looking at some sample RFIs, model RFIs to give us that information. We also learned I learned that we really need to delve into the permit and licensing piece of it because that gentleman is leaving at 2028. So we want to make sure that whatever he's built that we can cover. And we also have 3 vendors who want to come and do a presentation, a high-level overview of their system, just to see, so we can get people thinking about different ways to do that. I've also invited the RDA team to not come, but present over the internet what their system looks like. If anyone wants to be part of that, to see any of those things, that would be great. I will have them taped so that I can share them with you. So let me know. We also have gotten our RDA training started. Last week was our first sessions. This week we had one. Next week we have one. And I can tell you it's great. The training is great for RDA. They're just such kind, and they take their time and really explain, because we pose questions that are specific to the things that we're seeing and trying to understand. So next week we have, I think, another training session and then one the following week. But those are all recorded. So we can keep them. We can go back and review as we're needed. Now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Pika to go into her summary, as well as maybe a discussion on budget and appropriations. All right.
So to piggyback on a couple of things that Dr. Curran said. So one, the training with RDA has been fantastic on multiple fronts, because it's very clear that we've stumped them multiple times on things that the system can't do. So these are wonderful opportunities for us to verify what is happening. Matter of fact, last week in the training, she said, look, I'm not sure you guys need this because you seem to know all of it already. And at the same time, then there were 4 things that we asked for that she said that isn't something that it can do. So that is extremely beneficial for us to be able to build forward, moving forward. The other thing I'd like to piggyback on is the justifications. Part of what we've been doing in this budget process is going through every single line item to see what is in there and looking at the descriptions of what is being bought that is captured in the financial system. Those are all public. Anyone can look at them so you can see what was bought in the past. Having the purchase order have a description on it will then help us feed what the entry is in the system. So you won't see things like Visa True Up or a wedding gift or something like that. You'll see what the actual thing is that's being bought. So that is also really important for the budget, because if all you have is a line item that says office supplies on your purchase order, you don't know what that is. You don't know, is it necessary? Is it something you can collapse into something else? So that is very beneficial. I gave a chart, and this is all available already publicly too, in terms of where we are for expenses year to date, revenue year to date, We're under $100,000 in back due. Most of that is still Dominion. We still have a few things that we're playing around with there, but we've paid probably close to $200,000 so far in Dominion. So we're getting way caught up on that. We have a couple odds and ends that we're finding that are overdue that we're being cut off on. So we're working with the superintendent on finding who owns those things, because we need verification that those things exist and have been purchased before we will pay the bill. We have 2 process improvements you have in your packet. It is not for action. These are not policies. We have identified 2 areas where we need to write some procedures. One is related to cafeteria spending. There is an existing process by which cafeteria funds that are collected, there's a separate account. I'm not talking about the federal funds that are used for the nutrition. I'm talking about a separate account. Multiple audit reports from 21, 22, and 23 identified that the balance in that account was excessive and it needed to start being moved. That process started late in 23, early 24. That process does not have a trail where I can see the documents that were submitted and when money was moved. It's been an ad hoc process. We met with the county treasurer, the county administrator. So we in the school system are establishing a process by which there will be a formal movement of that money. What's been happening is that cafeteria money, $40,000 at a time, maybe $50,000 at a time, moves into the school account, Fund 30, and then it moves into the nutrition account, and that's essentially a supplemental appropriation without going through the process. So all we're doing is taking an existing process and just putting a wrapper around it to make sure that we can continue to do that process in accordance with, frankly, the way the Code of Virginia works. The other one is related to, I'm sorry, I can't help but smile about this one. We figured out how to solve the revenue thing. So last month we came to you about how we couldn't return revenue to the county. So here's what we're going to do. There is an existing account in the school financial system for capital improvements. The Code of Virginia explicitly allows the school board to deposit money into that revenue account with a tag. You can put the money aside. You have to identify the project for which those funds are going to be used, and you can only use those funds for that project. So the process improvement that we're putting in place is going to be to take any of the funds that we would have normally returned to the county, and we're going to deposit them into that revenue code. They're going to be booked. So once they come into the treasurer's office, we reconcile with what we think we're getting. We're going to book it into that fund. We're going to earmark it. Right now, Mr. Brand, everything's going to be marked with NES Playground because that's the priority the school board gave. That's the priority the board of supervisors gave. So we're going to mark it in there. You're going to then, that money, you will get a report every month along with the school board about how much is in that account. And only when there is a plan and an approved contract to do whatever the project is, we will then come to you to appropriate those monies in the correct account. More than likely, it'll be the operations and maintenance account. But that money will sit in reserve. I call it reserve. Technically, I don't think that's what it's called. But that money will sit there and be reported every month so you'll know the balance. Our anticipation, because right now there's already 126, provided you approve this supplemental transfer in front of you, there's already going to be 126,000 that will be moved into that revenue account, which means the school budget that we prepared included some monies for capital improvements. Those monies, that request will be reduced by 126, and I fully anticipate next month to come to you and say it's going to be eliminated. That doesn't mean the school is getting out of the capital process. What this means is we're taking funds that we know we don't need and we're going to put them aside for capital projects that have been prioritized by the board. I want to also add on to Dr. Kern, the revenue that was identified exceeds what the school said they needed last year by a good number. I fully anticipate that, what's the name of our auditor? Fox, whatever, or whatever. Our RC better come back with an audit report that clearly identifies there are funds available, because the fiscal year, if you look at the data that are in the system, the school finished the fiscal year last year with expenses under revenue. We now book an additional $4.1 million in yesterday.
That changed since your school board meeting. right?
Was it 3.9?
I made a note of 2 million during the school board meeting.
No, the revenue that we booked, we hadn't booked it at the time. Yeah. So this is last year. So the revenue that we booked from last year essentially wasn't needed to get the school in the black. So the auditor better come back with some money that is available in that account. If it doesn't, I think we have probably some questions that need to be asked. So we've got process improvements that we're making. The other thing that we're doing now, we are trying to catch up again with this year's revenue. The other thing that we've been able to do, we have over 1,160 account lines, of which 865 are active. Of those 865 account lines, we have created a status of funds. We know exactly how much money is in each one of those account lines. 170 of those lines are overspent. They're either overspent because they don't have any money in them and they keep getting hit, meaning you're further draining a bank account that didn't have any money in it. We don't know if that's because stuff is on route and it's just getting hit. We've tried to stop the overspending. Like, it can't be through purchase services. Most of this is coming in a different side. So we are going to start digging in to those account lines, those 170 account lines. We have a 23-page action plan for what we're going to do for each of those lines. The goal is by April 1st to know exactly what is going on with those accounts and have them all balanced, because Dr. Kern and I do not want to go in the fourth quarter of this fiscal year with any doubt about how the school will finish out. We do not want to have an ask of additional monies. So we are laser focused on all the work that she's doing. I'm focused more on the number side with getting the stuff in the system. We've got payroll and our accounts payable folks taking care of that work. So the true financial management that hasn't been done in the last couple of years is now starting to get done. Neither Ann or I can sit here and say that it's all going to be fixed and hunky-dory. What we can say is we're now in a position we can identify these issues. And I think that's super helpful as well. We're still trying to work on getting reconciliation with the county treasurer. Nothing that the county treasurer is doing. It's us just making sure we can get everything in order. And I got to tell you, every single day we think we're ahead of the game, and then 6 more things pop up that we didn't know about. So it's okay. We can roll with it. Every day is an opportunity to excel. Let's see. So we do have an ask in front of you. And I get confused always about we've got 2 grants that we'd like to receipt in. A vision grant that comes every year. I provided a pretty extensive explanation in the form for what they are. There's the vision grant, the security grant, and then the refund on the overpaid state taxes. I want to receipt those in. The vision grant's going to go straight out the door because we have to pay that bill. The security grant is going to be used for either technology, in accordance with what it's supposed to be used for, either technology refresh or something along those lines with in conjunction with obviously the superintendent. That means that $67,000 of taxpayer dollars that we wouldn't need that can be prioritized elsewhere. And then the 125,690, thank you, is straight going into the revenue account. So I'll take a pause and see if there's any questions on that.
The grant's 100% funded, correct?
The vision grant, 100%, yeah, it 100% pays the bill. The security grant is a freebie.
Yeah, right.
And thanks to the school for submitting. There's a couple more that are going to be coming down the pike, but I won't say anything until we get that money in the bank.
Pull up the vision grant real quick. Can't remember.
It's a screening grant. There's a nonprofit in Virginia that provides vision screening for schools. It's like $7 for a screen. The school's been doing this for the past 3-4 years.
You all had time to review the grant request? Okay, let's take them one at a time. What would the board like to do with the vision grant?
I'll make a motion that we approve the grant.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, that one passes. The vision grant. Okay, the second one is the security grant.
And these funds are already in the county treasurer's office.
Okay.
Motion to approve the security grant.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Got them.
And the tax refund?
Tax refund, yes. Motion on that.
Can I ask a question about that first?
Oh, yeah.
How do we overpay those taxes and how do we catch it?
That happened in 2023.
Right.
UHY caught it. I don't know how. I walked in and there was a check. I could go back. I think they were doing some audits. One of the things that they were trying to do was audits because we had the IRS lien. And I have an email that says from UHY that says we found this money and we're going after it. And the next thing we know, we had a check.
That's a good thing.
I'm surprised by the state didn't say it was overpaid.
They may have, sir, but
Okay, that's normal, you would think.
I assume that we probably got a letter. There's still a little bit of paper that needs to be filed.
Okay.
And this was 23, so it's not something we were looking for when we got in.
Hey, board, what would you like to do with that?
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. That passes.
And very briefly, the last thing, I think it's the last thing. Very briefly, the last thing, I am pleased to say that we worked for the last almost 3 months with all the principals, all the division directors, the superintendent, and we pulled together 7 options for you to consider for the school budget for next year. You have 7 alternatives from which to pick. All those alternatives align with the guidance that was issued by the county with respect to compensation increases. I'm pleased to say that we identified an additional $516,000 in cuts. Those cuts were then used to put money in for, first and foremost, compensation increase across the board. Every single one of those 7 options provides for compensation increases. The mixture of it is however you all decide to do. The budget includes to start the technology refresh. There's funding available now to start refresh technology. The funding is in there for the capital improvement, which probably won't be needed. We've also made sure that we've, what did they call it, homed? We had bills that were being paid but didn't have a spot in the budget, so we've also included those. The budgets, all 7 of those budgets come in below, at or below, the county contribution from last year, meaning for those 7 budgets, the school will not be the cause of any tax increase on any citizen in this county. All 7 of those budgets are at or below the same figure that was given to the school for last year. I'm overly optimistic that we might be able to go down a smidge. I would prefer not to do that right now because we still have to get this capital stuff put together. There still might be some variances that come in. There's about an $8,000 increase in our state money because our LCI went down. But we also have some revenues that had previously been in the school world that I'm not sure if we're going to get, so we're not counting on those. The other thing that we're not doing with this budget is we are not relying on grants. We know there are some sources of revenue that are static from the feds and the state that will always come in. What we have not done is baked in any grants because those require reimbursement or application. And that means if you don't have those funds, you can't spend them. And we don't want to put ourselves in a position where we're shortchanging anything that's required by state law, anything that's required to support student learning. This budget was built from the get-go with the guidance from the school board, the superintendent, and you, that we focus on student outcomes. And that's what we've done. And every cut that was made, it was presented to the school leader or the division director. Everything. They looked at everything. So we submitted that budget. Thank you for a little bit of an extension. It was just submitted on Tuesday so that the school board could vote. The school board vote is what it is. And you've got that budget as well.
There are a few other versions of the budget out there though, right?
One, the school board voted on an alternative, and that was also submitted to the county.
And you wouldn't be able to make the same statement about the school not being responsible for a tax increase with that version of the budget, is that correct?
I can make no such statement about the school proposed budget.
Board members, you have any further questions? Tadlock, if you got any questions? I know one thing I'd like you to get with the finance department is they talk about these funds going into the CIP for the schools. We need to make sure that the funds that are coming back in are not owed back to the county where we've funded a grant and those funds.
Paybacks.
Right.
Paybacks.
We need clarification on that.
So you're looking at whether these are state or federal monies and or whether they're local monies that are covering a portion of those.
No, what he's looking for is what I've asked, which is, have we used taxpayer monies that are now being reimbursed by the state, which is what we started this conversation with about how to return monies to the school, from the school to the county. And what we've ended up with is there's no way for us to do that right now. So we're putting them in this bank account to hold on to them until that can be figured out. So the auditor has to opine on whether on this year's, but for last year, I can tell you right now, sir, yes, there are monies that are coming into this county that the county paid the bills. That's the money that we were trying to return back to the county. And this is the solution we came up with because right now, there's no way to return it back to the county.
Okay.
Yes, we have monies exactly like that. And that's why we're not spending them. They have to go separately.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you. While we're on the schools, and it has nothing to do with the finance department, gentlemen, we need to appoint a citizen to the Joint Finance Committee. And I'd like to appoint Mr. John Coss to that committee.
We don't need but one.
That's all we need.
Are you making that into a motion?
Yes.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Coss, you're now on the Joint Finance Committee. You're certainly welcome. And also, the school done a good job in getting their budget approved early. So we also need to put forth an effort to move a little quicker this year. So let's look at our calendars and see if we have next Thursday open so the schools can do a budget presentation. And the Planning Commission does have a meeting that night, so we would have to do it a little bit earlier and be done by the time the Planning Commission meeting starts.
Planning Commission starts at 7.
That's correct.
About 5 o'clock.
What are we talking about? 18th?
The 19th or 19th. Yes, sir.
What time?
5. And we will see if that will work with the school board. But yeah, I think that will work for us. And once we have that meeting, we'll set a date for a Joint Finance Committee meeting. But let's get through the budget presentation first for the school. Everybody have any questions on it? All right. All right, that should take care of the presentations. We got one supplemental appropriation for the finance department.
Yes, sir. That's related to some overtime, in total amount $1,201.70 to 1203-1002 and 1203-2001. And that is something that we're going back and reviewing our policies and procedures regarding as well on remote work and or inclement weather work.
Well, I appreciate the ladies working because it ensured that the payroll was complete and all the other paperwork and all was caught up. It kept things going. What would the board like to do with this appropriation?
We don't have a choice but to go forward with it this time. I'll make the motion that we do just that.
Second. All in favor?
And no, it's just for clarification, that was for $1,201.70.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it passes.
Right.
All right, Mr. Tadlock, it's all yours now. County Administrator's report.
Dr. Kerman, was there also the request for Ms. Obier? You do have a request for continued services for Ms. Obier, and I believe it was 3 months. 3 months.
I know the good work she's been doing.
Any discussion on that, board?
Yeah, what do we still need her for?
Filing, monthly or quarterly, current copy. The income records.
Are we thinking that we'll need to do this again in 3 months, or?
So that's what we're asking for these 3 months.
This will help you on an everyday basis to get things moving and keep things going on smooth.
Yes, when she comes in, she usually works nighttime or Saturday, but the files are enough.
And she's willing to provide that service again to us?
It's been a real job.
Make a motion, we approve it.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Great. For the month of January, we had 7 new structures, total construction cost, $4.4 million. And same for the total cost of construction for the year. But it does put us approximately $2.1 million below this time last year. Next item I have is the county did declare a local emergency with the ice storm that we've recently had. And I would like to thank all of the emergency responders and VDOT for everyone's help during that event. We did declare on January 22nd, 2026 at 3:30 p.m. and terminated the declaration on January 27th, 2026 at 5 p.m. We do need the board to reaffirm that local declaration. You have that resolution in your packet.
Motion. Yes, sir. Approve. All right. Second. All in favor? Aye. All right. Any opposed? All right.
Talking about appointments, we need a reappointment, Mr. Danny Crabb, Board of Zoning Appeals, District 5.
Motion to approve Mr. Crabb's appointment.
Second it.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
And we also need a District 5 member for the anti-litter committee as well. They're missing.
What's that? What committee?
It's for the anti-litter committee, District 5. Next item we have is the EMS revenue to EMS expenditure account from the Treasurer's Office to 3506-5956 in the amount of $20,730.41.
Motion to approve the transfer.
Second. Second. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Passes.
Next item is supplemental appropriation for Motorola Solutions for the Sheriff's Office. If board remembers, last January, the board approved the body camera purchase. And after that, the initial supplemental appropriation was for the full amount. But then after that was worked on and approved, it was determined that they did have an opportunity to pay the subscription fees on a 5-year basis. And so this is year 2 of that contract. So the total amount is $17,668.80 going to 3102-5409.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Next item is the opioid abatement fund. The December bank interest going to 47-5102-3200. Total amount $88.83.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Next item is DMV paper purchase. This is a reimbursement, 10-1213-5401, total $99.98.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Next item is the fiscal year 26 Virginia Department of Fire Programs going to 3202-5605, total amount of $853. When we did the budget, we had estimated that we would receive $65,000, but we did receive over that, the $65,853. So we're just asking for the additional monies. This is not county monies. This is state grants, state monies. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Motion to approve.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Next on the list is the MOU with Soil and Water. This is an update to an existing MOU that we do have. It extends the date for their services to do 2 agricultural assessments for the county, which is required through the Bay Act.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Right.
Next item I have is a refund request from the Slays. They are requesting this for a permit cost associated with the conditional use request that they withdrew. This item was advertised for the Planning Commission, but did not go forward to the Board of Supervisors. They were asking for the refund for minus the $1,000 minus any advertising or staff time involved with that project. We did provide a breakdown of those costs with the advertising in the newspaper, the notifying the adjoining property owners, and the staff time involved. Out of that $1,000, staff is recommending a refund of $287.59.
Any discussion on it?
Is that what's, I haven't had one of these before.
I haven't either.
Is that the normal procedure?
We do not get these that often. So we tried to break that down as best as we could. It may be something that we need to reevaluate going into the next budget cycle as far as our fees.
Staff feels okay with that number?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So their original request was for half of the permit cost. Is that right?
I think what they were looking at was $500 for Planning Commission, $500 for the Board of Supervisors. Was the thought.
And since it didn't come to us, they thought they should get that back.
Right.
As a refund. But we had more costs incurred.
Right. And this is just a suggestion. It just broke down what we did have involved with the particular project.
And they decided to withdraw their permit.
They chose to withdraw the project.
What was that amount again to what?
$287.59.
Make a motion we return to 289.
Second.
287.59. You want a second?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next item we have is the Stryker ProCare renewal, and this is for stretchers, stair chairs, and Lucas Mechanical CPR devices, and this is for the maintenance. This is to approve the contract moving forward. The monies are in the budget for this, so we're not asking for additional monies. It's just to move forward with the renewal of the maintenance contract.
Move to approve. Have a second.
Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
Next item is regarding L3 Harris high capacity batteries. This is for 100 batteries, total cost of $12,950. We do have some monies remaining on the initial Bank of America loan that we did for the project that we can use for this cost. If you have any additional questions, I think Assistant Chief Harding is here. If you have specific questions as far as the number of radios and so forth.
And the money is, we have the money that's left over the radio system.
We have monies remaining of the loan that we can pull this from. Yes, sir. So it wouldn't, ultimately we have to pay that loan back, but and we've got that built into the budget now.
Just for an update for the board members, the problem that they're having is that the radios are not, the batteries are not staying up on the radios throughout today for them to be used.
How many years have they been in use?
Well, these radios are probably a year old now, but they were not the extended life batteries that had come with the radio. The extended life battery will allow the radio to stay up and running.
So you're saying there's no problem with the battery, it's just not able to keep up with their use.
The capacity is not there to keep the radio on all day long.
What's the life expectancy of this battery? Yeah.
I don't know.
On battery, putting into batteries will about 10 hours or so on all day. So you're looking at having to switch out batteries halfway through the day or in the middle of the shift for or fire things like that. So becomes a safety concern for them at that point in time.
Will the company give any credit for what we have if we send a core? If we let them know they're not doing their like they should be? Like me, it's an issue with them not sending us with the right battery to last with what we need.
With I can reach out to offer a credit for returning batteries. That's something that we want to do. We can offer send the batteries when we get back and send it back. If not, we'll hold them as a cash or a failed battery or something so we can get something in if they won't give us credit back for that.
How long is the warranty good for? I see that they have one because they give us void the warranty. How long the warranty is good?
So I went back through the contract today to verify. After we do acceptance testing on the radio system and everything is signed off on, we'll have an additional 2 years on all hardware. As far as your mobile radios, your portable radios that we're getting these batteries for, pagers, et cetera, moving forward with that. So it'll have, we're probably looking at June to July for acceptance. So we're looking into 2028 for warranty on these items.
I would go back and read that again because I may have read something in there also that once we start using these mobile radios and portable radios, the warranty starts. I'm not saying I'm correct, but go back and make sure because I think the additional 2-year warranty starts on the radio system itself.
Okay.
You double check.
Yeah, I'll go back and double check on that. And I emailed them on that before, and they said that all warranties would start once it was accepted on that email. Okay. So I can get that for you as well.
You said these batteries were going to last about 10 hours?
The ones that we currently have on all day long, they last about 10 hours or 10 to 12 hours, somewhere in that range.
And the new ones will last how long?
Honestly, I'm not sure because I personally haven't run one of them all day to see how long they'll last. But
is the 10 hours just receiving time, or does that include a reasonable amount of transmitting time also?
Normal usage, so receiving, transmitting.
Okay.
I know the deputies are having to charge their batteries before their shifts are over. So
your life of your battery also depends on what you have a radio doing throughout the day. So if you are very interested in what everybody in the county is doing or all the surrounding counties, and you have a scan group set up with everybody in it, and the radio is constantly receiving traffic, so it will drain your battery. So it has a lot to do with the use of the radio through the day. But one of the biggest concerns is you get in the middle of an EMS call and you go to key that mic and that battery's going on you. That's no time to have a bad battery. So.
And I'd like to see them keep the old ones too, because they could carry them with them in case they need them. Like pop, take one, pop another one, and keep on going.
But we're buying some, we don't know how long it's going to last either.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where you're taking a $12,000 proposal and not having tried one of these out to see if they meet what they need.
I do know that some members from Fairfields purchased some before, and I believe Sheriff Beecham has a few with his deputies as well. I don't know exactly battery life expectancies on those because I don't know individual members. I can try to find that out and bring that back to you. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, if it was critical that this would need to be done tonight, that's one thing. But if we got time to regroup, get a little more information and revisit it.
It's actually 13,000. Might as well say that.
Yeah.
Right. I just want to make sure if they're getting it, they're getting what they need.
Yeah.
So we want more information. Let's get a little more specific on what information you would like for them to bring back to the board.
Number one, life of this battery, period, usage.
Okay.
What normal usage, what I would consider normal usage. Number two, I know you say don't return them, but is there a credit for any batteries that we have that are not meeting our standards right now? Because I think it's a little bit of failure of the company not to send a battery that can last normal expectancy, which I would think would be more than 10 hours. Would be my two questions.
Warranty coverage also.
Okay.
And how much life you're going to get out of this battery and the uses that we have for it in this county.
And are these the same batteries that Sheriff Beecham's picked a couple up and Fairfield's also got some?
Yes, sir.
Well, we need to talk to them too. They got them in the field. They know what they're doing. That would be a good example right there. I'd rely more on that than I would what the manufacturer said.
And
manufacturer states it though, and we've got it right, and we've got something to come back on it. That's the only reason I'd like to see what they say.
Okay. So table this until next month. Everyone good with that?
All right. Thank you, guys. I'll find that information out for you and get it back to you.
Thank you.
Next item, I'm going to ask Chief Bailey to come up. It's regarding the board's endorsement for the Department of Emergency Services to obtain a fire department identification number.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Board. So we're here tonight to request the board's endorsement for us applying for a fire department ID number through both the Virginia Department of Fire programs as well as the United States Fire Administration. There's been some conversation in recent board meetings, as you recall, about recruitment and retention of volunteer firemen in the county. And so I've worked with Chief Brand and Chief Keyser with Fairfields, and we're looking at applying for what's called the SAFER grant. It's a federal grant and several different aspects of it, but the part that we'd be looking at would be for recruitment and retention of the county's volunteer firefighters. As part of that grant process, we need to have a fire department ID number. No cost to the county. It's an administrative function is basically what I'm asking for. Just some key talking points, right? It has no impact on the county's volunteer fire departments. Doesn't change anything with them, with their current status, with their governance, with their funding, anything like that. Again, it does not have any effect on their funding levels, on their grant opportunities. Whether we do or we don't, it's status quo, regarding the FDID. This doesn't make the Department of Emergency Services a fire department. We're not running fire calls and with the exception of Chief Harding and I, as part of our job description, we're not jumping on fire trucks and doing that. We're assisting the volunteer fire departments, but I just wanted to be clear that, this does not make the Emergency Services Department a fire department. The purpose of this request is to apply for the grant when the grant time comes, but this would be the first step of it, to make sure that on the back end, the administrative side, we're prepared to apply for the grant when the grant cycle opens.
Any doubt? Oh, you know of it?
No. Actually, Chief Keeson and I met with Chief Bailey and we had some discussion on recruitment and retention for the volunteer fire departments. And it's better for the county to have an FDID number, and we apply for this grant on behalf of the county than it would be just one single volunteer fire department trying to get it. It kind of makes the grant a little stronger. And, you know, there have been departments that have gotten $300,000 or $400,000 to help with recruitment and retention. And I'm telling you right now, we need some help. We need some people in these fire departments.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't get it, then the taxpayers are going to feel it again, because I'm going to be paying for paid firemen. And we're not ready for that. And we really don't want that. But we're trying to find ways to recruit and retain the firefighters, volunteer firefighters that we have now.
Yes, sir.
Got 2 good departments in the county. We just need to make sure that they can maintain and grow. And this is just one way of doing it.
I'll make a motion that the county move forward and find out getting a fire department identification number.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Well, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Have you had time to go to the schools and talk?
Yeah, yes, sir. Actually, Dr. Leslie and I, we've exchanged some emails as recent as this month about trying to get her, myself, and Miss Ashton together to talk about bringing the public safety classes, overall firefighting and EMS, back into the school system. You know, and conversations do continue about particularly EMS, you know, at the technical center as well. So those conversations are ongoing.
Did some of the teachers reach out to you in regards to CPR class?
I haven't heard anything yet. No, sir.
Okay. And you might want to reach out to Dr. Leslie on this, but I know the teachers have to have CPR, and it's on them to get it. Well, you know, we all know CPR classes can be rather expensive, but if it's something that emergency services could offer,
absolutely,
the teachers, and they don't have to pay for it.
Yep, absolutely.
That's a cost savings for them, and it makes it a whole lot easier for them to get their certifications.
Absolutely, and we have numerous BLS instructors on staff. You know, that would be a difficult request to accommodate.
Okay.
All right, the next item I have is, I'm not sure if anybody is here from the electoral board. There you go. You do have before you an estimate from Hart voting, and I believe this is lower than what initial estimate was. This is $24,692. You do have in your packet justification for source, and we did in our borrowing financing, we did place monies in that that criteria to purchase this equipment that's set at $150,000. We do have enough wishes to move forward with it. I wasn't sure if you all would have specific questions for the electoral board.
First of all, greetings for entertaining us, and taxpayers. We've got our new secretary in the back, Wayne Hauser, and I'm Austin Schmidt. You're still stuck with me, but yeah, I'm prepared to entertain questions. We did go back and look at the original request, and we took $27,000 off of it, which puts us in a situation where we feel we can survive with that, with the new request, but it doesn't give us much wiggle room. And as you all know, there has been some failures in the machines lately because they're over 10 years old, and that's just wearing out. So we're going to need the new machines eventually. And another aspect is with the new security requirements that have been that are coming. They're not mandatory yet. They're still voluntary, but our supplier, Hart, can build the machines now for us, and they're ready to go. And so that's our plea. we'd like to have, because we want the taxpayers and the voters to be assured that their voting is going the way it's supposed to go. Because we've had some incidences in the last voting cycle that were kind of embarrassing. We overcame them, so everybody can rest assured that everything's working okay, but the machines are wearing out.
So you actually had some machines that failed?
Yes. So we had to replace, we had the backup machines at the registrar's office. So when the precinct chiefs called us up and said the machines are failing, we were able to replace them with our spare machines. Now with the new request, to the $124,000 request, we're not going to have as much wiggle room as we've had in the past. But again, they're going to be new machines. So maybe in 10 years, somebody will stand here and ask the next board for new machines, because the machines are wearing out again.
And the existing machines will not meet the requirements that's going to soon come out.
With the new security requirements coming in, which are right now voluntary but will become mandatory, they do not, and they can't be retrofitted. And they do not meet the new security requirements.
And these meet it?
Oh, these meet the current. Oh, the new ones, yes. The ones in the 120, the ones with the request we got in now. Yes, Hart can start plugging those things, chunking those things out for us. Yes, and they're one of, right now, well, as of last week, they were the only company in the country that could produce the new machines with the new security requirements on. We understand that another company has now come on board too, but right now, Hart can do it.
How long will it take them to get them to you?
We don't know.
Okay.
That we don't know yet. So that's what we asked last summer for the equipment, because we wanted to give them the lead time to get online. And we're not pushing for an answer immediately. We've got this April 21st voting coming up that we think is going to happen, but the Supreme Court has still not ruled on it. And then the June primary looks like it may be in August now. And then November is going to happen, though. That's standard. And so we're trying to lean forward in the foxhole and make sure that we're ready to go when we're called upon by Richmond to conduct an election.
Okay.
So.
And you did say the money's already been appropriated.
But it hasn't been appropriate, but it's been identified through
the budget.
Correct.
Okay.
And it would be using the new money with the tax exempt borrowing that we just recently completed.
So we need a motion.
Go ahead, Mr. Long.
I move that we move forward.
Thank you, sir.
I'll second that.
And that's with the reduced amount, Mr. Tadlock?
124,000.
So a couple things. What was that amount again? $124,692.
Yes, sir.
If that could be part of the motion and include that it's to use the recent borrowing of the tax exempt borrowing monies.
Okay.
So move.
Second. And second. Can I ask just a quick question?
Yes, you can.
These still are paper copies that we use for voting. It's not replace, these are.
No, yeah.
You're still scanned and you still have a paper trail is what I'm saying.
The voter fills out a paper ballot and feeds it into the machine. The machine reads it. Yes.
Just want to make sure we had that back up.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
No, this is no smoke and wires and mirrors. and the machines, they make no electric emanations. There is no way to put some device near it or outside the polling place and find out what's going on in there. They're shielded.
Thank you.
Well, the gentleman, question.
No, I was going to clarify, and I'm going to the voter or people who are protecting, so exactly like the difference is we will meet the new expectation early on in the cycle before the demand pumps up in the rest of the state.
Yeah.
And the price is going to go.
Yes. Because as we all know, the people who build the machines, they answer to their stockholders, as you all answer to the questions out here, as do we.
Got a motion on the floor?
Yep.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? It passed.
All right. And then if I could get a motion on approving the resolution for sole source purchase, I appreciate it.
So moved.
That's
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes.
You do have a full committee, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and it's great. I kid you not. This new the new board. I mean, you're stuck with me, like I say. But the two new members of the board, they're great, and I'm pleasure to work with. We're going to get it done.
Sounds good.
Rest assured, taxpayers and voters. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
next item I have is an update on the Little Wacomico dredging. We continue to work with the Army Corps of Engineers and VMRC. We actually had a meeting with them yesterday, a call, just trying to get updates on questions answered and so forth. Easements have been sent out to the property owner, so we're waiting to receive those back. Also, easement to the private oyster lease holder has been sent out. There's only one, but two lease areas. So we're waiting to obtain that easement back. The one thing that we have submitted the emergency funding request to VMRC through the Virginia Waterway Maintenance Fund. And we're still trying to push the JPA and answer any questions that arise from that. Next item I have is the General Assembly bills, and there are several bills of concern. One, or both of these deal with the menhaden fishing industry. One of them has been laid on the table, so that one is no longer of concern.
Which one was that?
House Bill 1048. The next one, House Bill 1049, is still a concern. It has come out of committee or subcommittee, excuse me. And yesterday passed the Agricultural, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources Committee. This bill directs the Virginia Marine Resources Commission to create and maintain a quota period management system for the Chesapeake Bay menhaden reduction fishery.
And that would put them on a monthly.
That would put them on a
Put them on a monthly, and they don't fish 6 months out the year. So that would.
Whatever quota they were allowed, they would divide that by 12, and they would be allowed to catch that much per month. And that would not, if you didn't catch it in January, it wouldn't carry over into February. Right.
And since they had 6 months they don't fish, that's pretty much telling them to get out the bay, period.
Right.
I bring this up because this will severely impact Omega ocean harvesters.
But put them out of business, what it would do.
So not only that, what it will do to this county and Lancaster County would be.
But the citizens don't, I tell you what the eye opener was to me was when we went down and had the presentation. And I can't remember the exact number of employees that they have down there from Northumberland and Lancaster County, but it's 200-300.
I think it was 320. Am I right, Chip? Somewhere in that range. I mean,
but it was I think it was $27 million in payroll that come into Northumberland and Lancaster counties from a fish factory, not counting the tax base that it has here in this county. And if that company leaves, you will see a significant increase in taxes in this county.
And Mr. Bryan, it goes on deeper than that because
it does.
You discontinue the employees, the infrastructure that goes into that from adjoining companies all over the state.
That's a huge impact.
Groceries, electricity, fuel, nets, gear, equipment, motors, engine. It just goes on and on and on. So what you're saying is true, but it is in fact a small number compared to the overall picture.
Absolutely.
And that's what we need to consider is the overall picture to get in all the factors.
Right.
as Mr. Williams and I experienced, a lot of people don't want to hear those statistics. So we beat on the doors all day Monday. And it's kind of scary sometimes, the response you get and what you hear back. So we need to have a voice up there.
Well, I believe we're going back again next week in support of the fish factory. You know, it's not every child in the school system is
college student, and we need opportunities here in the county for people that don't want to move out of the county to be able to make a living and provide for their families. And, it's just, it's disappointing that this has gotten this far and it's putting that much stress on that company. I just hope all of it goes away and we'll just go on and do their job. I believe that company is well run and they got the best interests of their employees in this county in mind every day.
Mr. Tadlock, can you speak to the meeting that you were able to arrange?
Yeah, I was going to share that I know several of the board members have been actively engaged speaking to the delegates. Most recently this week as well, both the Lancaster County Board of Supervisors and the Northumberland County Board of Supervisors signed a joint letter and have sent that into the Appropriations Committee. We do have a meeting scheduled with the Secretary of Natural and Historical Resources next Wednesday. So we plan to go up and meet with them next week.
And that's both counties?
That's both counties. And we are also actively trying to get a meeting with the governor's office as well as Secretary of Commerce. So we continue to try to knock on doors and give the presentation. So. Next item I have is land use meeting. I know it was discussed at the last board meeting. I wanted to check with the board to see what date and time you all would like to set up, if that's something you all wish to do.
But this month, what do you think about this month?
Just a quick question on that. Should we wait to see what Todd can do on his end? I know he can move some numbers and do some things first, or is something we should jump in for he? What's your thoughts?
I think the Commissioner of Revenue needs to go ahead and see what can be adjusted and come back to this board with those numbers. But I think this has gotten too far here now that I believe we're going to have to go on and have a meeting on this and let the landowners and the public speak. I don't want to get into a situation where, people not allowed to speak. But I think the Commissioner of Revenue needs to go on and start working on his numbers and
I would prefer that he has those numbers so the public can see first before they come in and do that. That's right. What I'm trying to say here.
That's what I want. I think we need to have that information available when we have a meeting.
We need to get in contact with Todd.
We have Mr. Tadlock reach out to
reach out to him and
Commissioner of Revenue and having thoughts of one. But that's my opinion on it. Y'all have an opinion on it as well.
Yeah, I think we need to jump on it as quick as possible, and go ahead and get it done.
Well, we had talked about the meeting in the beginning, and we voted 5-0 to have the meeting. And part of that vote was, or the meeting was, to have an educational process, because there's a lot about this. I've learned a lot about it in the last couple of weeks, but there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. And at that time, the board related to me, they didn't know.
That's right.
About this particular item. And just so when and where and how you have it, I still want it to be to where this board can be educated on land use. I know I need the education. If I'm going to make a decision on it, I want to know all the ins and outs. I want to know all the ins and outs, and how I get that is being taught from somebody that knows. And in that purpose, I'd like to have Todd or whoever else here that can answer questions that I'm going to put out. I don't want to sit here and just try to make a decision on something I know nothing about.
And my understanding, I think a lot of the land use and the rates are set by a committee or group from Virginia Tech?
That's correct.
Well, if we're going to have this meeting, why can't we reach out to Virginia Tech and see if we can't have someone attend as well? I mean, they're the ones that set the, help set the rates and provide information. They study it. But also, you know, we got citizens that want to speak on this as well. We got landowners that want to speak. You got farmers that want to speak. And I think it's a topic that, you know, they deserve a right to be heard.
Yeah, I think we should have that committee from Virginia Tech, have citizens and Todd, all of them, try to have them all here at the same time. Well, people can ask questions, get a better understanding.
Don't need a motion. You've already got the motion.
You want that in?
Right.
You all are just looking, I guess, first to see what Mr. Thomas can pull together, and then work on getting a date sometime in the future once he has that information to move forward at that point.
Okay. Yeah. And one of the key things we're working on this year is our timelines. So I don't want this to happen in 2 months or 3 months. Let's go on and get on this, and let's start getting meeting dates set up, and let's move things forward and not drag them on.
Sometime the end of February, sometime the first couple of weeks of March.
I'm good with that.
Depending on Todd's situation.
Right, I'm good with that, but I don't want to wait until May and June.
Yeah,
Just let things.
Well, we're going to reconvene on the 19th. Maybe we'll have enough information by that time to set up the meeting with Mr. Thomas.
Sounds good.
Right. I'll get with Mr. Thomas and see what we can get straight. Just wanted to let you know, the county budget requests were due February 2nd. So we'll be working with staff and getting those, that item set up and budget calendar. The board has already received the school board budget, and we've got the meeting set up for next week, and I'll reach out to the superintendent on getting that scheduled with the school board.
What month do we do the capital improvements?
The planning commission should be getting that this month. Do you have that going to the?
We've had volunteers to the subcommittees. We have the capital improvement subcommittee formed, but we haven't set a date yet.
I knew it was getting close.
Yeah.
Great. Next item, trailers at the old school board office, the mobile classrooms. The board did not accept the bids last month, and the board did ask that the building official go on site, and he did confirm that there there is no service there at the meter base. And we did have, we asked an electrician to go up there and give us an estimate on what it would cost to disconnect everything there so that we could bring in a crew to demolish the mobile classrooms and regrade. So depending on that cost, we may be able to pull that under our small purchase policy versus putting that back out for bid. So we'll be actively seeking, getting some estimates on that and bringing that back to the board. Just wanted to let you all know we're still moving forward on that.
So you don't have any of those in shape enough to sell or what?
I'm not sure that they are in condition to be moved or sell, Mr. Long.
How about the school up there? How we?
The school update on what?
School up there in Lottsburg. You know, the old building. Did we ever get rid of that?
No, the county still owns that. The only thing that we have been focused on right now is the mobile classrooms in the back. The last item I did receive a letter from the auditor of public accounts and requesting an update on the status of our audit. And you have in your documents, the board docs, a letter that we've sent back to the auditor of public accounts. We're required to post that on our webpage as well. So we will be doing that. And we're anticipate a June timeframe as far as the audit. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. With that, that's the last item I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Tadlock, are we going to mention anything about the dog situation, or are we going to table that?
We have the ordinance coming up later this evening. Now, there was I did miss this item. We have an item in the board docs related to code compliance and nuisance items. We are still in discussions with the attorney, and I think there's still some we need to discuss there. We'll bring that back to the board when we get that ironed out.
I know there are some people tonight that are here specifically into that, so I just wanted to ask.
Yes, sir. We've Gregory has met with Ms. Wrightson this afternoon, and we continue that dialogue.
All right, next on the agenda is committee reports. Thing I have to report is I attended my first planning commission meeting, and I enjoyed it. I think it's going to be a good opportunity for me to learn a lot. It's a lot of good information in that meeting, and it was very enjoyable watching the people work.
Well, social service, I attended that meeting, and I think we're doing quite a bit to help citizens in there, in the county. So a lot of people need help. So we're doing the best we can to help them. No.
Thank you, Mr. Long, for your update.
Just have a quick question. The treasurer report, it's a collection rate of 95.62% for real estate, and personal property is 92.59. Do anybody know the amount of money that's outstanding? It gives me a percentage of what's paid.
I can get with the treasurer and get that information for you.
Any other report, I'd like to see that included, the amounts that is outstanding, if they don't mind. Thank you.
One other thing, Mr. Tadlock.
Yes.
I'd like to see if we can get someone from Dominion in Northumberland electric company to meet with us next board meeting. I had quite a few calls. People electric bill jumping up $800, $900.
Mr. Long, could we close this one out and bring that up in board member comments?
Yeah.
But hold your thoughts on that, okay?
But I'd like to see us get someone from the...
Because we need to have a little bit more discussion on that in board comments. Anything on the county administrator's items? Okay. Next up is we done the committee reports. Board of Supervisors items. We got the check register. Has everyone had the opportunity to review it?
Yeah, I move that we approve it.
Okay. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes. Now, Mr. Long, if you don't mind, take off where you left from one of your comments on the election.
Yeah, Northern Neck and Dominion. I'd like to see us try to get a representative for next month meeting.
You speak up a little bit, gentlemen.
Okay. I would like to see us get someone from Northern Neck Dominion Electric Company to come to the meeting next month. Well, quite a few citizens that's really complaining. I've received quite a few complaining. And one or two persons jumped up from $400 to $900. So, it'd be good if we get someone to come up to really explain what happened.
Yes, sir. We'll reach out to them.
Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Long?
That's it right now.
Okay. Terrence?
Yeah, I've got one thing. Talking with some colleagues of mine and friends, I had a question for the county. A lot of stuff goes to the papers nowadays, that bids or whatever it is we're doing. They were wondering if the county could set up an email system that if you wanted to receive an email of what's going on in this county, like Rob Whitman does, like I know several other politicians do that you just give a briefing. So they send that in and send the email. They send you their email and they're included on everything that goes out. So they can read this. They don't have to go to board docs, whatever they do, they can just click on the email and see what's going on in the county. Because I think it would do the county a lot of good if we could do that, get the people more interested in what's going on. Just don't know if it can be done or not.
But to get on that list, that would be on the individual to reach out. It would be on the
individual to send, yes, I want to be on your list. Please send me these emails.
We can look into that further, see what we've got.
Thank you.
Could that be something that's attached to the website?
I don't, we would have to check with the current vendor that we have. I know that we are modifying our board docs system, and that may have some opportunities there, but we need to double check that. But we will certainly look into it. I'll get with IT on the webpage. And
it could help on their bid processes a lot too, because you'd have them out there. People could read the bids through an email service. I think would be nice if we could do that, if possible.
Anything else? You got anything else, Mr. Harris?
No, I'm sorry.
Mr. Williams?
Just a couple questions about the equalization board. I think we filled all the seats on the board. Is that right?
That's correct. They have been appointed by the Judge Martin. We are still looking for a secretary for the Board of Equalization. So if you have anybody that you know of that we might be able to reach out to that is interested in a part-time position, let me know. I don't mind reaching out to them, see what we've got.
I was asked about training. When will that happen?
So what we were hoping to do is have the secretary on board as well, because they need to be included in that training, so we can do the training all at one time. That is conducted by the Department of Taxation. Mr. Thomas has reached out to them, and they're willing to do that training. We just need to get a time set up for that.
And when are the hearings scheduled to begin?
I know our office and the Commissioner of Revenue's office has been actively taking names on those that wish to have a hearing. That is one of the duties of the secretary, is to schedule those hearings. They need to get with the board members that have been appointed and look at their calendar and set that schedule up so that they can move forward with that.
And how is the county pursuing a secretary? Have we advertised for that?
We've not advertised. We have reached out to previous individuals that have helped us. They are not able to help us this time. So we have been reaching out to other recommended individuals as we progress through this. So, but we need somebody sooner than later.
What you say? You need two secretaries? What is it?
Just one.
One?
Yes, sir.
That's the equalization board? Oh,
yes, sir.
We upgraded the salary on those individuals.
That's $200 a day.
How about the salary of the secretary? Did we upgrade that?
We did update that to $18 an hour.
Okay. How much? $15 an hour?
18.
First part of the constituents meeting to have to go over their reassessment. Has those letters been sent back out to know what their values are stated at right now?
I believe they were sent yesterday by the assessor.
They are sent out. Okay,
yes.
Good.
Mr. Williams, you got any more?
That's it.
All right. Bishop? Nothing? All right, I have nothing. Tadlock, you got anything?
No, sir.
All right, we're going to move into the public comments.
Let's get that 10-minute break.
You want a 10-minute break before we move into the public comments? We're going to take a 10-minute break. This is public comments. Just want to remind everyone as you come up, please state your name and address, and you have 4 minutes to speak. Who do we have, Mr. Basin?
The first person on the list is Mr. David Matera.
There you go. Good evening. My name is David Matera. I live at 1434 Cedar Point Road in Heathville. During the public comment portion of your November meeting, I spoke briefly about a problem that I was having with a group of people who were violating zoning regulations. In my comment, I stated, as you probably realize, we don't have enough time to get into the specifics of this case. That can wait for another day. Back then, I had no idea how difficult this was going to be. In order to avoid any unpleasant reactions, some subjects are best not brought up in an open forum. So I assumed that I'd be able to address all of you during one of your closed meetings, and I asked Mr. Tadlock to arrange it. That never happened, but now after a bit of research, I think I learned why. Because it's illegal as defined by Virginia's Freedom of Information Act. I've already apologized to Mr. Tadlock for that. Hopefully one of you will actually verify for me that this is the case, but I think that I've learned that. So now I'm left to wonder, how is a county resident expected to communicate with the entire Board of Supervisors? You don't have office hours or even offices. Should a person call, text, or email one of you and then hope that the information gets passed along? Or should he text, call, and email all of you? But then, what if the communication needs to go in more than one direction? What if an actual conversation is required? What then? Here's a possible solution. A couple of years ago, my wife and I had a small situation that we wanted to discuss with Sheriff Beecham, but it wasn't big enough to bother him in any official manner. The only time that I'd ever previously met Sheriff Beecham was the day he pulled up my driveway to personally deliver my jury duty summons. Lucky me. But then one day we read about coffee with a cop. The sheriff has informal get-togethers where folks can stop by, have a cup of coffee, and chat about something that's on their mind. We stopped by, talked with him, and he put our minds to rest. I suggest that the supervisors offer the same opportunity. And why not do it at the same time and place? And what goes better with a hot cup of coffee than a hot bowl of soup? So I even give you your new catchy slogan, soup with a supervisor. A couple of times a year, I suggest that you make yourselves available for county residents to just sit down and chat. They'll feel well served knowing that they're being listened to, and you will have an invaluable opportunity to actually learn what is on your constituents' minds. After all, how many residents of Northumberland are willing to stand up in a public venue like this with cameras running and cram everything that they want to say into an organized presentation that is less than 4 minutes? Not many. For example, when you want public's input on dock shelters, how many residents took the initiative to stand up here? As I recall, results were all those in favor, 0. All those opposed, 1. That was me. This doesn't seem a good example of democracy. You need more input, and soup with a supervisor will deliver it. However, assuming you intend to vote on dock shelters tonight, just so that you have a little bit of input, I'll share the opinions of the few folks that I've talked with. Every person that I spoke to who lives on the water is opposed, and I should have expected this. Most of the opinions from people who don't live on the water border on indifference. It's almost as if they are muttering the old phrase, can't see from my house. Perhaps people who will be able to see potentially ugly things from their houses should be listened to. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Feel free anytime, sir, that if you need to email all of us, we'll. All right, who's next on?
The next person is Karen Baker.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Karen Baker, 1496 Mila Road. I'm going to speak very quickly after this point so that I don't get off and I can say everything I have to say because I have a lot. I'm a Northumberland teacher, Northumberland graduate, parent of 3 alumni, and a Northumberland County taxpayer. I'm here on behalf of the teachers who show up every day for our students, not because it's easy, but because it matters, to discuss the importance of teacher staff compensation. In rural Virginia communities like Northumberland, school stability is one of the top factors families consider when buying a home. When teacher turnover rises and programs shrink, families hesitate to move in. Enrollment declines, housing demand softens, property values can stagnate. Strong, stable schools protect property values and attract young families, healthcare professionals, remote workers, and small business owners. Employees considering expansion ask, can our employees' children thrive here? Teacher retention is not simply a school budget line item. It is a strategy for protecting property values, sustaining enrollment, strengthening workforce readiness, and building a long-term economic resilience. If we want Northumberland County to remain competitive and economically stable, retaining qualified teachers must be part of that plan, which means valuing teachers and showing that with compensation. Over the past few years, inflation has significantly reduced purchasing power. What a salary could buy 3 years ago is not what it buys today. We'll cover the insurance increase. What that really means is we are paying more just to stay even. Their take-home pay doesn't grow, just their financial stress. Last year, teachers, faculty, county employees did not receive a salary step or even a cost of living increase. That means 2 consecutive years of reduced real earnings. When adjusted for inflation and rising expenses in practical terms, that means delaying medical care, taking second jobs. Postponing home repairs, which can lead to higher costs, affecting retirement, since retirement is based on average for teachers, salary compensation, and or questioning whether we can stay in this profession that we love. Teacher shortages are not theoretical. Districts across the state and country are competing for a shrinking pool of qualified and licensed teachers. Teacher shortages can and do lead to larger class sizes, canceled or reduced course offerings, such as fewer dual enrollment courses, or hiring uncertified or underprepared teachers. Nationally and in our district, subjects such as special education, math, science tend to have the highest vacancy or uncertified teachers. This directly affects student learning and student outcome. Compensation is one of the top factors teachers consider when deciding whether to take a position, stay, move, or leave education altogether. When neighboring divisions offer stronger salary growth, we risk becoming a training ground where teachers gain experience and then leave for financial purposes. Meanwhile, the job itself has grown more complex and demanding. Teachers are expected to accelerate learning recovery, address student mental health needs, manage increased usage of AI, implement new curriculum initiatives and higher testing cut scores, integrate technologies such as AI, differentiate for a wide variety of learners, maintain communication with families. These responsibilities are layered on top of planning, grading, and instructional time, and they increased, not decreased. So when compensation stays flat, but expectations rise, teachers are effectively being asked to do more for less real pay. Is Northumberland County truly investing in our students if it is not investing in our teachers and our staff? Teachers' pay is not overhead. It is the core investment in student work. Without adequate teacher compensation, you will be cutting into student quality programming and our ability to attract and retain strong educators. We cannot cut our way to success. Putting us on our true staff increase is not a bonus. It is not a luxury. It is a correction. Putting us on our correct step, 2.5%, begins to restore our lost purchasing power, supports retention, and signals that this community does understand the economic reality that your teachers face. If we have stability in our classrooms and experienced educators in front of our students, in addition, can attract and retain high-quality candidates, salaries must reflect both the cost of living and the value of the work being done. This directly affects student learning and student outcome. Because when teachers feel financially secure, we stay. When they stay, students benefit from experience and consistency. And when students thrive, the entire community wins. I respectfully urge to consider a true salary increase, one that results in meaningful growth and take-home pay, not just offsetting rising expenses. Thank you for your time and consideration and your leadership. And together, hopefully, we can move forward together. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Baker.
The next speaker is Matthew Sprague.
Hello, I'm Matthew Sprague, 809 Southgate Drive, Wacomico Church District. I just have a few questions for the board, and I don't necessarily expect any answers tonight, but I will be back, and I will be asking the same questions. My primary question has to do with the Second Amendment. In 2019, Northumberland County joined about 90% of the counties in the Commonwealth of Virginia to become a Second Amendment sanctuary county. As I'm sure many people know, a new wave of unconstitutional gun laws are making their way through Richmond. Are Northumberland County residents going to have any reassurance that Northumberland County is going to stand firm in its Second Amendment sanctuary status? There's a lot of gun laws that are going through right now that would criminalize everybody, just about every gun owner. Outside of that, I had questions about the most recent tax assessment. It's my understanding that the period to send a reassessment or to challenge the assessment that the county gave us is closed. I think the county should entertain the idea of extending that or opening it back up. I don't think there was adequate amount of time for people to get assessments to submit to the county. Personally, we have received an assessment on the main house since the county's assessment, and our assessment's $150,000 less than what the county tax assessed the house at. However, our period to submit that is passed. The cost of living is rising, and Omega is facing more and more pressure every single day. If they're gone, y'all are going to have no choice but to tax the ever-living crap out of us. And property taxes is how y'all are going to do it. Our property needs to be assessed adequately. That's all. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, just on the tax assessment, I just want to clarify, Mr. Sprague, that the first part of that was a hearing with the assessor, and the hearing with the assessor period has been completed. The next step is the Board of Equalization, and those hearings will be scheduled. So information will be coming out shortly related to those hearings. So that's the second step, that you can challenge the assessment itself. And if you've obtained an assessment yourself, certainly bring that to the hearing with you and show that documentation with that hearing. Correct. There's still going to be a second opportunity to challenge any assessment that's been complete. No, I just wanted to clarify.
Even if you didn't go through the first process.
Even if you didn't go through the first process, you still have that second opportunity to challenge the assessment.
Okay, all right.
There's nobody else on the sign-up sheet.
All right, there's no one else on the sign-up sheet. Anyone online would like to speak? No one online. Okay.
Shut the public over here, yeah.
Anyone else in the audience would like to speak? Okay, at this time, we're going to close this public comment. All right, next, we're going to open up the public hearing. First, we have a discussion on the Northumberland County zoning ordinance with shelter roofs over private commercial, non-commercial piers. We've already had the public hearing on this, correct, Mr. Tadlock?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
And we should have someone here tonight from VMRC?
The board asked that a representative from VMRC be present, and I believe Jeff Madden from VMRC is here this evening.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm here to answer any questions that you might have on this matter.
Could you just give us a broad view of VMRC's opinion on?
Well, the Code of Virginia exempts the construction of a 400 square foot open-sided gazebo structure on a riparian pier. But it requires the concurrence of both of the adjacent property owners. And a number of counties have adopted it. I have a rough list of them. A great many have. But the important clarification is that it's an open-sided structure, that there's no flashing, there's no siding of any kind. And that way, it doesn't place the board or the board staff at the top of a very slippery slope. And this way, the individual's rights can be assured through the Code of Virginia, and as long as it's 400 square feet. Now, if it's 400 square feet, open-sided, and it is protested by the adjacent property owners, it is no longer exempt, and it would have to come before the commission for their consideration.
Mr. Mann, how long has that been on the books?
Well, that's in the same spot in my head where my mother-in-law's birthday is. So that's right about there. I think it was about 2003. It's been a while back, but yeah.
You said you had a list of the localities.
I do.
Could you share those with us, please?
I would be happy to. Everything is in this book. Everything I do is in this little book. The counties that allow gazebos is Matthews, Gloucester, Hopewell, King and Queen, New Kent, King William, Westmoreland, Norfolk, Accomack, Isle of Wight, and Surrey. Poquoson, a name I avoided for the first 10 years I lived in Poquoson, the city of Poquoson, in Middlesex County. They have sides only. And I'm not sure about Middlesex County. But yes, those are the ones that I could glean in the short amount of time that I had.
Is that just one in the northern neck?
I'm sorry.
Was that just one in the northern neck, Westmoreland?
Yeah, as far as I can tell. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any more questions?
Do you know of any major stink that has arisen when a locality adopted this ordinance? Do the counties that have adopted this ordinance, have they regretted it?
No, because what they do is they'll rely upon us to make the call sometimes if it's open-sided or not. That's the big thing because it's an aesthetic issue. But again, we operate under something that you probably are very well aware of, and that's the public trust doctrine. The public trust doctrine tries to keep everything for the sake of everyone in the Commonwealth to use. And with that in mind, we're very conservative about how we approach the code. So if it doesn't say anything about siding, because that's the big issue, the siding on the structure, we don't exempt it. We don't add anything to the code. We go right to that very conservative language. And but again, each county will do it a little bit differently. I have in my career been approached by individuals who would like to have siding on it And I discourage them from doing that because it tends to draw a lot of attention from the neighbors. Because again, your view, it impacts the view. So I do a lot of negotiation with property owners that want to put siding on, and I try to urge them to move out of that arena.
What else you got, Mr. Wheaton?
I don't have anything else.
Mr. Harris, you got your question? Any concerns about storms doing damage and other than normal and ended up in our waterways?
The one thing that the state does not do, or the Commonwealth doesn't do, is we don't build to a construction standard, or else I'm a marine biologist by trade. And so I can tell you what's in the water rather than on top of it. But we don't build to a construction standard. So therefore, what you're getting from the Commonwealth of Virginia and the Marine Resources Commission is permission to encroach over state-owned submerged lands. And so we believe that a 400 square foot structure is a de minimis structure, and much smaller than a boathouse, which enjoys that same exemption, once again with the concurrence of the neighbors. We do not include the people across the creek or any distance across that. That was when this particular piece of legislation was considered, it was thought that the property owners that had curtimonious property lines would be the ones that we would be involved with. I hope that answered your question, Tier.
Anything else, Mr. Harris?
No.
Mr. Long, do you have any questions?
No.
Mr. Fisher? I have no more questions. Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome.
Okay, board, we've had a public hearing. We've heard from BMRC. We tabled this and put it off until this month to make a decision. So how would the board like to move on this?
I have one question for Mr. Marston, if I could.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Marston. This 400 square footage. If this was to be passed the way it is tonight, an individual could go out and build a roof 5 foot wide over top his 80-foot long dock if he chose to do so, correct?
Yes, sir. The way that is worded. Yes, sir.
The way it's written?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Can I ask what was the basis for that question? You don't like the thought of a 80-foot long
I don't
truck?
like the thought of it at all. I think it's cluttering up the waterways. I think our predecessors who sat here some 19 years ago, and voted 5-1 not to have it, I think their reasons for doing so at that time is even more present today than it was then. We pride ourselves in Northumberland County on our beautiful, tranquil waterways. I just don't see the need for it. There hasn't been any need for it in the past. I think the people who are applying for this now have good intentions, but I'm worried about opening Pandora's box to some people down the road that may not have these good intentions, as I expressed last time with TV sets and stereos and beer kegs and picnic tables out there. I'm just going to agree with my predecessors in the past. That was my reason for making that statement. And to get back to your question directly, I just wanted to make it clear that if I have an 80-foot dock, 5 foot wide, and I want to put a roof on it from the shoreline to the end with this proposal, I will be allowed to do so.
Well, my comment to your comment about I want to say this. People that did not have good intentions with this project, they just couldn't do it without it coming over this board if their neighbors opposed it.
But if their neighbors didn't oppose it, they could build the project and go on with it, and then do the damage down the road later, if they choose to do it. Maybe there are not such people as that in this world. I don't know. Maybe I'm just taking that for granted. I think, like I said, the people who have this proposal, who have made this proposal to Northumberland County, I think they have good intentions for what they plan on doing. But with doing it, you're opening the box for anything that comes along down the road with it. And we look at the need. That's the question. Is there a need? Is it worth our tributaries, our creeks, our rivers, our waterways? The boathouses are bad enough. We used to allow boathouses with sides on them. Now you can't have sides on them. We're pretty kind of privileged here in Northumberland County with that. Langston don't allow any of any kind, any way, shape, or form. And I see the need for a boathouse.
Well, my opinion of the shelter has just been further strengthened with Mr. Madden being here tonight. I don't think that many localities have made the mistake about allowing these in their area, and that's where I stand.
Okay. Your district, Mr. Fisher.
All right. This motion is made in due consideration of the administrative record before the body, including the Planning Commission's deliberations, the recommendation, the information received vis-a-vis the public hearing, including the statements offered by staff, the applicant, members of the public health and safety, the general welfare of the community, public necessity, convenience, and the exercise of good zoning practices, and the body's legislative prerogative in pursuit of the body's statutory authority. With that in mind, I make a motion that we deny it. Second.
All right. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
I'll deny. Excuse me on the first. I agree with you, what you said on that, so I'll vote for.
All right, so you're for?
For, I'm sorry, vote for.
Okay. So you, all right, let me.
Yeah.
You voted for what Mr. Fisher stated.
Correct.
He is not recommending this. Okay. And those opposed?
Aye.
Aye. So it's 3-2. It passes. Does not pass.
Okay.
I'll get it straight. Take me a little bit, but I'll get it straight.
That is my confusion. I started it all. My apology.
Those things happen for him.
Those things happen, don't they?
That's right.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, let me say this. I would not be opposed to going back and reviewing this if we can come up with staff and marine resources on some type of control where if this was to pass by the board here and would be implemented, that there would be some kind of a control on it where these situations that I've expressed concern about could be controlled. I don't know if that could be done or not, but I wouldn't mind working with the people who put this proposal forward to start off with and with staff down the road. Just to let that be known to Mr. Tadlock too.
It can be brought back up again in a year, right? Mr. Fisher, if you want that to, I guess if you want that to happen, I would put that in a motion of some sort.
Well, I make a motion that we revisit this in 1 year, that when we've had time to study it more again, to see if the controls can be put in place both by state and county to where we have no fear of situations not in good taste to the county do not arrive.
Okay. It's your motion.
That's my motion.
Have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes. All right, we got a public hearing tonight, a request from Benton Hayden, owner, and Michael Bryant applicant for conditional use permit to allow light industry on property zone A1 agriculture.
How are y'all this evening, Ben Hayden?
Good evening.
Brian, how y'all doing?
Okay, gentlemen, can you give us a little rundown on description of what you are proposing on this piece of property?
Just a mulch yard. We're gonna have bins, fence, drainage system. Been to VDOT and got everything approved. They're just waiting to know about what happens here before we move forward with that. It's gonna be a mulch yard. The products that I make, crushed concrete, 3 different products of that, topsoil, fill, just gonna carry colored mulch, all of that stuff.
Location of your?
Right on 360 Lotsburg.
Okay. And I believe in the planning commission, you said you had this site engineered.
Yep.
Okay.
Got it right here.
Any of you want to look at this? They put a lot of time and some money in this to get these drawings.
Mr. Chairman, I went up there, visited the site, checked it over. One thing I can say with these gentlemen, what they do is usually A1. Should be a very nice, clean, aesthetic site. The county, I think it's needed, so I will make a motion that we approve it.
Okay, all right, we got to let them finish here, then we got to open it up for public comment, and we'll come back to that. What else you need to tell us about you?
We'll get a little office there.
Okay.
Signage, which I think we will have to have approved once we get that far. You know, I mean, it's just, we did have some questions about some protection for the equipment that we're going to be using. Like, could we have a carport there? You know, little stuff like that.
Okay.
Is this just going to be for commercial use, or can an individual come in with a pickup truck and get a scoop up?
Pickup, yeah. Yes.
Any other board members have any questions? Okay, we're going to open up the public hearing on this and let people come up and speak. And then got the sign-up sheet, and no one has signed up to speak. Do we have anyone online that wishes to speak on this? No one. All right, well, we will close that portion of it. Mr. Marsden, can you read us the conditions?
Yes, sir. The suggested conditions, if approved, are that all necessary permits and/or licenses shall be obtained from all regulatory agencies, including but not limited to the Virginia Department of Transportation. A sales office shall be located on the same parcel as the gravel, mulch, etc., for all retail transactions as shown on the site plan. This operation shall be kept clean, neat, and organized. Only vehicles or equipment associated with the operation of this business shall be stored on the property. All signage shall comply with the zoning ordinance. All lighting shall be non-reflective and directed downward to prevent any glare on Route 360 or adjoining properties. All storage of dry goods shall not be in a cargo container, and non-compliance of any of these conditions shall result in this permit to come back before the Board of Supervisors for possible revocation.
What you got to say, Mr. Gregory? I need to. All right. Anyone in the audience that wishes to speak? Okay. That being said, we will move forward. Have you gotten any emails or letters in opposition?
No, sir. No correspondence. I spoke to the adjoining property owner, Mr. Lowry, about the project. He just happened to come in the office before the planning commission hearing, and he was in favor of the project as well.
Okay. All right. We're going to close this public hearing. And what would the board like to do with this?
I'll now make that motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes.
They're amending your motion.
Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
Yes, I'm sorry, we got to read that. Yep, we always get that, Mr. Gregory. Glad you reminded.
This motion is made in due consideration of the administrative record before the body, including the Planning Commission's deliberations and recommendation. The information received via the public hearing, including statements offered by staff, the applicant, and members of the public, public health and safety, the general welfare of the community, public necessity, convenience, and the exercise of good zoning practices and the body's legislative prerogative, and pursuant to the body's statutory authority. I make this motion that we approve it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes.
Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck, man.
I was getting ahead of myself there, Mr. Gregory.
Good luck, bro.
Yes, good luck, guys.
All right, next we have a public hearing, request of Adam and Lauren Garber, owners for conditional use permit and allowed a vacation home rental on property zone R3 residential restricted. Yes, sir.
How are y'all?
Good.
So my wife and I recently purchased this property as a secondary residence. We live in Richmond, just outside of Richmond, so hopefully I get to use this a fair amount with our family. And but we'd like to have an opportunity to rent it to offset some of the costs. We can't use it due to kids' activities or work obligations, and that's why we come forward with this. I appreciate your time.
Right. We're going to open up a public hearing on this, and it's no one on the sign-up sheet willing to speak on this. Anyone online? Anyone in the audience would like to speak on this? All right, that being said, we're going to close the hearing and put the matter before the board.
Mr. Marston, we do not have any opposition to this project.
Yes. I have not received any correspondence on this request.
Read your conditions, please.
Yes, sir. Suggested conditions, if approved, are that all required permits and/or licenses shall be obtained from all appropriate regulatory agencies, including compliance with all applicable state, federal, and local laws, regulations, ordinances, or rules concerning taxes, including transient occupancy tax. A smoke detector and a carbon monoxide detector shall be located in each bedroom and in any other location required by the building code. There shall be at least one off-street parking space for each bedroom and no on-street parking. Vacation home rental shall have an access driveway to a state highway with a sufficient 12-foot width, 12-foot height, and condition to accommodate emergency services, vehicles, and equipment. The vacation home rental shall register and maintain registration with the county's registry annually while operating. Vacation home rental shall register a local manager who possesses the authority and ability to promptly address and correct any violations of the conditions, use requirements, and/or limitations applicable to the vacation home rental with the Building and Zoning Office and Sheriff's Office. This registry shall include the name, address, and telephone number of the local manager, and this shall also be posted in a conspicuous area of the vacation home rental. The vacation home rental's boundary line shall be clearly marked and identified for the occupants of the rental home. Recreational vehicles may be parked on the property but may not be used by guests for living quarters during their stay at the vacation home rental. Renters' pets shall be kept under control at all times. Overnight occupancy shall be limited to 2 persons per bedroom plus 2 additional persons per residence. This conditional use permit is non-transferable and it does not attach to the property if ownership changes. There shall be no golf cart use by the renters on the roads, and the applicant shall maintain liability insurance.
Sir, do you have any questions about the conditions?
I don't.
Are you okay with all the conditions?
Yes, sir.
That being said, this motion is made in due consideration of the administrative record before the body, including the Planning Commission's deliberations and recommendation. The information received via the public hearing, including statements offered by staff, the applicant, and members of the public health and safety, the general welfare of the community, public necessity, convenience, and the exercise of good zoning practices and the body's legislative prerogative and pursuant to the body's statutory authority. And I move that we approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Passes 5-0.
Congratulations. All right, the next public hearing is consideration of amendment of Chapter 34, Article 2, the Northumberland County Code to repeal and replace the county's vicious dog ordinance with an update. Mr. Tadlock, you got any comments on this?
I don't. As you mentioned, this is an update to the ordinance to be consistent and compliant with the current applicable state code. I know Mr. Gregory worked on this particular item, so I don't know if you have any specific updates you'd like to provide to the board.
Thank you, Mr. Tadlock. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this, as Mr. Tadlock said, this is just an update to get the local ordinance in compliance with the revised state code regarding comprehensive animal care. And it basically is a verbatim copy of the ordinance, the model ordinance that's authorized by state code for localities to adopt. So there are a lot of tools in this to address dangerous dogs. If people have problems with dangerous dogs, they feel threatened by dogs they perceive as dangerous, they should contact law enforcement, sheriff's office, animal control. Animal control can come to the site, take a report, take evidence. If there is photos or videos or any other evidence to support a determination by the law enforcement officer that the dog is dangerous, they should provide that. The law enforcement officer or the ACO would then take that information to and issue a summons. Take that to the magistrate, issue a summons. The person would have to come before the court, and evidence would be provided, and then the court would make a determination if the dog is indeed dangerous based upon the facts and the evidence presented. While that proceeding while they're waiting for that proceeding and while it's underway, the dangerous dog can be taken. Custody of the dangerous dog may be taken. It can be held by the animal control, or if the owner of the dog has adequate facilities to keep the dog contained, then they can do that. There's a whole host of other remedies and capability there, but the proceeding would if a determination by the court resultant from the proceeding was determined that the dog was dangerous, certain conditions would be imposed upon the owner and the dog for registering, for a permit, control of the dog, et cetera, et cetera. It's all in the ordinance. So these kinds of situations can be, I believe, addressed under the ordinance if the board chooses to adopt it tonight, which would be my recommendation.
One question, sir.
Yes, sir.
If a summons was issued for a dangerous dog and the dog was proceeded to be left in the care of the owner until court time, if that owner failed to maintain that care, that in itself would be a separate violation?
That would be a separate violation. Yes, sir.
We've worked on this thing for weeks.
Any other board members have any questions or comments?
The only comment I have, why in the world are we putting a tag on a dangerous animal? We're going to see that tag that nobody can see anyway. Is that just something the state says? I mean, by the time you see that tag, it's too late. If you see what I'm saying, and we're charging people, I just see that in there. So that's my question. Why?
That's the General Assembly's wisdom.
That is okay. That's what I know. Okay, that's what if you want to call it, that's what I want to know. Strong wisdom. Get close. You get it. You know something.
Yeah, I think. In all honesty, I just think it's a way to make sure the dog is identifiable, and there are the cost for that permit. And that in and of itself can serve, practically speaking, as a deterrent for people who know they have a dangerous dog to continue to have a dangerous dog. No, they have to identify that. There's a cost to that. So,
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
I know we're getting it out, this information in the paper. And
Can't hear you again.
I know we're getting this information in the paper, but will the other papers receive that too? The echo. You don't know? That's my concern. I mean, we want to get it out, get the information out to as many people as we can. What other ways, Mr. Stanley?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What other ways do we get this information out? What people know?
Well, as far as this is scheduled for a public hearing, so we did advertise it in both the Rappahannock Record and the Northumberland Echo, but it is also posted on our webpage. So they're the three areas that we have it placed.
Williams, you got anything?
Do not.
Mr. Fisher?
Glad to see it. Finally, we need something with some teeth in it. This is better.
Okay. At this time, we're going to open it up for public comment. And we have one person that signed up. William Henry?
Hello, everyone. My name is Tanya Henry. I'm at 112 Pebble Road in Heathsville, and I've been coming up here months after months because it started with my little dog being mauled and this vicious dog that's in our area. And as of today, I sent Mr. Fisher is a new dog from a boyfriend that just moved in, and this vicious dog is a pit bull. So the pit bull is just running through our neighborhood. My neighbor cannot even come out of her house because the dog is right at her deck, won't let her out the house. And this has been going on in our neighborhood for probably since September of last year. So I am just up here. I have family members that come. My daughter comes home from Florida with her dog, scared to go outside with the dog. We have family, friends, we have get-togethers. They're afraid. I go to visit my dad at a nursing home 3 or 4 times a week in Gloucester, and I'm coming this night now. So when I get home tonight, I gotta be looking to see if the dog is around and running into the house. So I just pray that you all pass this law, and also with the nuisance part, because I do know that the vicious, but it's also a nuisance too that we should not, as a county residents, and I'm paying taxes in my own home, and I'm running to I gotta run to the house, running in the house, dog standing there just growling at me. So I just hope and pray that you all pass this. Thank you.
Anyone in the audience like to speak on this?
Does this address her issue without there being an actual fight or an actual time? Will this address her concerns?
If she contacts law enforcement, sheriff's office, the animal control office, they should come out and do an investigation, take the evidence, collect the evidence, make a determination if there's a reasonable basis to determine if the dog is dangerous, seek the summons, go to court, issue the summons to the dog owner. There is the process is in here, I believe, that if followed and the evidence supports a determination, the court can make a determination that the dog is dangerous and impose the conditions upon the dog owner. I believe that's possible, and I believe if done, then that would solve the problem.
The nuisance that you speak of is most important. The vast majority of complaints, people don't actually always get bit, but they get chased to their house. They can't get out of their car. They can't get off their porch because of growling, snarling dogs. The nuisance part, now we're going to try it this way, and we're going to see what happens.
Yeah,
we're going to try it. And as I've told Miss Henry, the first and every time it happens, and this is for all the public, get on the phone and make that phone call. Document your information, get it written down, and let's see what happens.
The evidence is going to be key, and the report is going to be key. There does not have to be a bite or a physical attack to demonstrate that a dog is dangerous. All those things can serve as evidence to support a finding that the dog is dangerous. The snarling, the biting, the charging, the chasing, all those things I believe would support a finding of a dangerous dog. It's all about reporting it to law enforcement and collecting the evidence. And the more reports, the better, I would say, in most cases. If you can get multiple reports from multiple people, If you have photos, videos, all those kinds of things are going to help make that determination.
Miss Henry, I had a meeting with the sheriff last night, and he's on board with this. And not to sound negative way, but we're going to try this and hope it nips it in the butt and get it taken care of.
What's the number to the sheriff department, Ms. Fish?
Beg your pardon?
What's the number to the sheriff department?
804-580-5221. That's the non-911 number. You can also call 911 if it is emergency. At 804-580-5221.
All right. Anyone in attendance like to speak on this issue? Okay. Anyone online?
Yes, I would like to speak.
Please state your name, please, and your address.
Marie Smith, 72 Pebble Road.
Okay, Ms. Smith.
As you know, you've been out here. We've had an issue. And I understand what I'm getting from what y'all are saying is you're going to amend the dangerous dog ordinance. How is that going to handle these dogs running at large? We, like Miss Henry said, we can't even go out and enjoy our yards. I can't take my own dog outside who loves to play ball, who is under my control, outside anymore because I don't know what these dogs will come out and do to her. I've had incidents with these dogs, and I'm sure y'all have seen the video of them getting after my chickens. I've had to put, keep my chickens in. They're not allowed to roam. We just want a peaceful existence with our neighbors and to be able to enjoy our property that we pay taxes on. So, I just want to know, how is this going to pertain to animals running at large is my question.
I guess that would come back to the nuisance part of this.
Well, Northumberland County allows animals, dogs to run at large, except for on subdivisions where they have lease laws. A lease law in this general area, in my opinion, Pebble Lane, due to boundary restrictions, would be hard to handle. So dogs are allowed to run at large. However, they are not allowed to harass, injure, bite, intimidate other animals, other people at any time. And that's where you're going to have to get on the telephone and make a phone call
and have good documentation.
And have good documentation of what happens.
I was working and the dog in the road won't move right up to the house and things like that. I just call the police.
If they're in the road, use your best judgment.
I don't want
Well,
cute.
No. Yeah.
But if in my yard, you're running, I'm trying to get in the house, they're running after us.
They're chasing you, that's a violation. Document it. And let the owners pay the fine if the judge so sees that way.
Anyone else online that wishes to speak? No one else? Okay. We will close this public hearing and it's before the board.
We don't need to.
Yes.
We don't need that. With that in mind, I make a motion that we go ahead and adopt this new regulation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 5-0.
In other words, Miss Henry, you're not to be harassed in any way.
And I will only add that now that the board has adopted the ordinance is effective immediately. So reports can be made under the ordinance. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You're certainly welcome. Right, so I guess at this time we will go into closed meeting.
Ready for a motion?
Yes, sir.
Need a motion that the Northumberland County Board of Supervisors convene in closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Freedom of Information Act Section 2.23711A1 for the discussion consideration of personnel matters. Section 2.23711A8 for consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by public body regarding specific legal matters requiring provision of legal advice by such counsel. Invited to attend the closed meeting as necessary are the county administrator, county attorney, chief of emergency services, assistant chief of emergency services, and assistant county administrator, as they are deemed necessary and their presence will reasonably aid the board in its consideration of topics to be discussed pursuant to Virginia FOIA Section 2.23712F.
All right. Have a motion. Go ahead. A motion. Second. All in favor? Aye.
Motion that Northumberland Board of Supervisors return to public meeting and certify by roll call vote that only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by the Virginia Freedom of Information Act and as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting are heard, discussed, or considered during the closed meeting.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All right. Roll call vote. Mr. Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Long.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye.
Mr. Brand's aye.
Yeah, like it's cold outside.
It's cold. 29 degrees.
Let me know.
Y'all sure you don't have it? Y'all sure you don't have 15, 20 more questions?
Yeah.
Mr. Gregory, quickly.
Good night.
See you, Mr. Gregory.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, Mr. Long, you had one thing.
Yes, it's kind of I'd like for you to check in that, our senior citizens, they have to go to the home over in Langston. We, like I said, we have one of the most mature populations in the northern net, 65 and older. A lot of these people, I was surprised we didn't have a women's center. We have had a women's center. And a lot of these people calling me, I don't know if they're calling you because they're having the hall. And we used to have places for people to go when that weather was bad. We have had it at the high school, nowhere. So that's one thing I know you got to get in contact with superintendent, but we need to be prepared on things like that. And also, check in, we got a lot of land. Check in and putting up something for our senior citizens that need somewhere to stay. What they wanted to go to Langston. What is that place they go to over there? Can't think of it.
Commonwealth. Are you talking about a retirement home or? They go for a shelter for the day, don't they?
No, for shelter for the day. I'm talking about a lot of these citizens go over there, for living.
Oh, Commonwealth, like right there, and then you have West Canterbury, or what is it? Westminster Canterbury too.
Yeah, I mean, we need to have,
Arnhem's the closest one.
See if we can find us getting something like that. All this land we got, check into it.
That would be a good project for the Economic Development Committee. Bring it before them to do some research on what the qualifications would be to have.
Right.
facility in the county. Because if we don't meet the criteria, we're not going to get it. But you don't know until you look.
We should meet the shouldn't have any problem meeting that. Because,
Is it something you wish me to direct the?
Yeah, just send it there to them. Got anything else, Mr. Long?
And this reminded about the for Northern and Dominion.
Yes, we'll get in touch with both of them. See if they can be at the next month's meeting.
That's that's it.
All right. The moment we've been waiting for, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I don't think anyone will oppose.